Hi everyone, you reached Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. For all of you out there, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. Hit the like button, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. And share my video with your friends and family so that they can come to my channel and get to know me also. I'm here today with a quick video on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Reunion Part 1. Yet again, Bravo is going to hold us hostage, okay? Because this reunion is 3 parts, and I really am going to say this up front. I think it's so unnecessary. Just from part 1, I really feel that they could have squeezed this into, at best, a 2-hour special and let us get on with our life. But instead, they're holding us captive. It's 1 hour for 3 weeks in a row. And we have to wait 2 more weeks to see the end of season 2 for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Now, Mary Cosby did not show up, and we all knew this ahead of time that she wasn't going to be there. And I will say initially I ragged and I dragged her for not showing up. I said she had the nerve. She should have showed up. But for Mary Cosby, to be very honest with you, for herself, in her own personal life, it was a win-win situation that she did not show up. For reality TV and all the fans, it was a lose for us because we love to see after reunions people answer to the conflicts they had during the season, and people answer the questions that we want to know. But, you know, Mary decided not to come, so for us, it was a lose. But when I watched Jen Shah sitting on that couch showing up for the reunion, I said, you know what, Mary Cosby, in this sense, there's a lot that Mary does that I do not like, but Mary Cosby, in this sense, should have rubbed off on Jen Shah. Jen Shah showing up for this reunion, I think is going to do her more harm than good. And maybe I think Jen Shah thought that she was going to be a Erica Jane. And why do I say that? Because we watched the whole season with Erica Jane kind of deflecting, dodging, and pretending like, you know, she had no idea what her estranged husband, Tom Girardi, did. And also saying that she was no way any part of it. And then not only did she do that all season, but she showed up for the reunion and answered questions that Andy swore that, you know, she did not know ahead of time. And she sat there and she answered the questions. Now, here's the difference between Erica Jane and Jen Shah. Now, I really feel like Bravo and Andy Cohen played Jen Shah out. And the reason why I say that, like he always does, he comes and sees the ladies before they actually come to the couch. So when he went to go see Jen Shah, he assured her, he was like, listen, there's sprinklings out there, there's rumors out there that Erica Jane had the questions ahead of time, had some time to prepare to answer all of the questions that we were going to throw at her. But he told Jen Shah that was not the case. I want you to understand and believe me. Don't worry about those sprinklings that are on the ground. We did not prepare her ahead of time. She did not get the questions ahead of time. So he's kind of letting her know, you know, you didn't get any questions ahead of time. You need to be prepared to go out there and answer whatever question we throw at you. And she didn't get them ahead of time. And I'm just like, you know what, Jen, you sitting there falling for the okie doke. And the reason why I say that is, her situation, Jen Shah, and Erica Jane's is totally different. So with Erica Jane, 99% of the accusations in the charges are against and were against her estranged husband at the time. You know, more recently, they've been throwing some suits on Erica and try to tie in her company and all of that. But most of Erica charges, so to speak, I'm going to say when she was doing the season, even when she did the reunion, was more of a moral standpoint. People felt morally she wasn't doing enough. Morally, she wasn't acting as if she cared about the victims. And, you know, it wasn't that she was physically at that time charged with the same crimes that her husband was. Mostly everything was lying on Erica Jane's estranged husband's back. So Erica coming there and, you know, Erica won doing the season. Erica too coming to the reunion and answering any questions, or although, you know, at that time towards the end in the reunion, she was, you know, they was trying to get a little bit more from Erica. It still wasn't the I'm gonna say bleak situation that Jen Shah is currently facing. Okay, Erica Jane was not facing, you know, that she knew of 30 or 20 years in federal prison. So now let's jump to Jen Shah. Jen Shah situation is critical, and she should have kept her butt home. And why am I saying that? One of the crimes, wire fraud, she could face up to 30 years in prison. Money laundering, 20 years in prison. And Jen Shah, that essentially means the rest of her life, right? And she has boys and she has a husband. And these crimes are not her husband's crimes, so to speak. They came and they arrested Jen Shah, not her husband. So you're sitting there on this show, and now we know in real time, Jen Shah tried to ask the courts, and they pretty much laughed in her face. And guys, you know I'm paraphrasing. They laughed in her face. She asked the courts, can you not use any of the Bravo footage in my trial? Girl, are you dumb, stupid, or both? So I'm saying to myself, Jen, out of all the people, you should have been the one that said, nope, I can't show up to the reunion. Or if you were going to show up to your reunion, because again, you know, Andy asked her, you know, what does your lawyers think about this? What do your people think about you coming and doing this reunion? And she pretty much laughed it off like, you know, they okay, girlfriend. No lawyer in their right mind would tell you to go to some TV show, reality TV show reunion, where in the midst of you being accused of some horrific crimes and being asked questions freely by the host and not having someone sit right next to you so you would know when you can and cannot answer a question. Are you that foolish? If I were going to show up to that reunion just to save my job, because you all know if you watch this reality TV, I'm not showing up to the reunion is a death sentence, okay? That's saying, listen, screw you, I don't want my job anymore. So you have to show up for the reunion. So if I would have said trying to save my job, I would have been like, yeah, okay, Andy, I'm going to show up for the reunion. However, because right now I'm being accused of some horrific crimes, I could be facing the rest of my life in prison. I'm going to have, you know, my lawyer, no, he cannot be off to the side. He has to be right here next to me, or you need to put a chair behind me and every time you ask me a question, I got to turn to my lawyer and say, well, can I answer that? But there's no way you would have got me on that couch by myself, pretending in my head like I'm not about to be fighting for my life, and that they could use this very footage to tear me down and bring me down. Am I going to be there without my lawyer? So Jen Shah, I mean, I really do like her. But unfortunately, I think she is delusional right now, and she's not understanding how much trouble she is really in and what she's facing, especially when her own assistant pretty much is saving themselves, and I'm not blaming them. Her assistant is saving themselves, okay? He's saving himself. And so you're sitting there on the couch, acting as if you're about to face maybe do like a Teresa Giudice and have just maybe a year or two or a few months in jail. Baby girl, they're telling you 30 years and for one charge and 20 for the other. And you are really that silly that you're going to sit there and come there without your lawyer? If my lawyer would have had to get my whole check that they paid me for the reunion, my lawyer would have got it. I would have never came on that reunion without my lawyer. And if you've seen the previews for next week, they're about to ask her husband, did you not question where all this money came from? And this man is sitting there answering it. Your both is just as crazy. Sometimes in a relationship, you have a couple where one of them will have a little bit more sense than the other and be like, nah, babe, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't care how much money we need. I don't care if we're starving right now. But what you're not going to do is that right there. But no, both of them showed up together. and answering the questions from Andy. Now, do I believe that Erica Jane did not have the questions ahead of time? Absolutely not. I think Erica knew exactly every question she was going to be asked. Erica is very arrogant, and I just don't believe that she didn't have a heads up. If she didn't get the exact questions, I don't believe she didn't have a heads up about what questions they were going to ask. And Jen Shah, I'm sorry. I would have been like, I wouldn't have came there without at least a heads up. And I definitely would have been sitting on that couch without my lawyer. So the rest of the reunion, it's not much to talk about. I mean, they're all just, it's just petty fighting in my mind about back and forth, a he say, he say. And it was quite boring to me. The only part that was interesting to me is Jen Shah just being straight delusional and not realizing that, part of her death sentence was showing up for this reunion. And then next week, her husband, they're going to get to ask her husband questions. This is not good. So guys, as you watch, let me know your thoughts. Chat with me in the comments. And when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. Do you think Jen Shah should have just stayed home? Or if she wasn't going to stay home, she should have had her lawyer at her hip. At her hip. You wouldn't have even been say hello to me. And I've been like looking at my lawyer. Can I say hi back? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and I'll see you in the next video.